Hello, welcome back to The Young Voter. Today is November 3rd. The midterms were yesterday, and they were pretty disastrous for the Democrats. The Republicans, contrary to my projections, picked up, at the moment, 60 seats in the House. Now, there are about 11 undecided House races, so we don't really know if the Republicans are going to win more or not. But at the moment, they've taken 60 seats. Our projections were between 30 and 40, but at the moment, it seems they've taken 60. So again, the Republicans really outperformed my forecast, and I couldn't have predicted. I wasn't expecting such a big Republican wave, especially with Democrats trying to get the vote out, etc., for their base, etc. But clearly, the American people sent a message last night, and that is that they want change in Washington. They haven't seen accomplishments that they are proud of. They haven't seen things that they like. And now the message is that the parties need to work together. Quit the partisan rhetoric and start acting bipartisanly. So again, a big blow to the Democrats in the House. I mean, long-term Democrats fell, including John Pratt in South Carolina, Ike Skelton in Missouri, Jim Oberstar, and Rick Boucher in Virginia. Big, long-term Democratic incumbents were defeated in the wave yesterday, along with a total of 60 members, 60 Democrats were defeated. A lot in conservative districts. At the moment, it seems that 28 Blue Dog Democrats fell. Of the 60 incumbents that were defeated, 28 Blue Dogs were defeated. Meaning the Blue Dog coalition will be a lot smaller come the next election. It will be a lot smaller. There will be about 26 coming into the new Congress. So we'll see if they try to pull the Democrats more to the center, or if Congress will be, in fact, more partisan, as there are more conservative Republicans elected, fewer centrist Republicans, and more liberal Democrats elected and brought back to office. Big news is, of course, that Carol Sheet Porter was defeated in New Hampshire, and Ed Custer was defeated in New Hampshire, making the GOP, giving the GOP 2 seats in New England for the first time in a while. So the GOP now has 2 seats, 2 House seats in New England, which is quite impressive. What is perhaps interesting is that the big Republican tide in the East, in the near West and the center in the country, didn't really fall on the West Coast. Only one Democratic incumbent fell in the state of Oregon in the House. And at the moment, it appears that some Democrats held on to their seats. Democratic pickups in the House were small, few and far between, but there was one in Hawaii. Then in New Orleans, Joseph Cao was defeated. And in Delaware at large, Mike Castle's old district, the Democrats were able to pick that up. And again, a 60-seat net pickup by the GOP, which is big numbers. Well, big numbers in the House. Now, for our Senate forecast, we were pretty accurate. I think I was pretty close in my forecast. In the House, I missed about 20 seats. So the House was, to be fair, at least trying to be fair to myself, it was pretty unpredictable. People weren't exactly sure. But in the Senate, the Democrats maintained the majority. Now, most notably, incumbent Senator Harry Reid, the Senate Majority Leader, held on to his seat when Sharon Angle was supposed to win, albeit slightly, and the polls indicated she was ahead. But it was close, but Harry Reid won by about 5 points, so we were correct in that prediction. Of course, in Connecticut, Richard Blumenthal won against Linda McMahon. We were correct in that. In Delaware, Chris Coons won against Christine O'Donnell. Of course, we were correct in that. West Virginia, it was close, but Governor Joe Manchin was projected the winner in West Virginia, which I thought was interesting. Around 8:45 Eastern Time, he was projected, so we weren't sure exactly when that was called, but it was pretty early in the night that it was projected. So Governor Manchin was able to keep that seat in the Democratic column. Rand Paul in Kentucky, as fully expected. Pennsylvania, Toomey, as I thought Toomey was ahead in the polls, and he was able to eke it out. Yes, he was, by about 1 percentage point, 1.5%. So he was able to eke out a victory. In Illinois, I was incorrect. Alexei Janulius lost by about 1.9%. So I was incorrect in that. interestingly enough, Alexei Giannoulias only won in 2 counties in the state of Illinois. He won in Chicago and downstate, county downstate. The remainder of the state was red, and by big margins. So Alexei Giannoulias was close, but not close enough. So Giannoulias, we were incorrect in that. Again, Mark Kirk, who is considered to be a moderate Republican, wins that seat, Barack Obama's former Senate seat, which is significant. In Wisconsin, as predicted, Russ Feingold loses, and Ron Johnson picks up that seat. Now it's interesting because it's a lot closer than the polls stated. Feingold lost 53 to 47, so closer than the polls suggested. He was only going to get about 44% of the vote. He outperformed the polls, but still he lost. In fact, Russ Feingold was one of the big surprises of the night in terms of, not in so much of the polls, but would voters really want to vote out Russ Feingold? He's been a very independent senator, a very independent record, and has been willing to tell both parties to take a hike, and he's voted pretty independently. However, Ron Johnson defeated him, and in fact, Russ Feingold has actually been mentioned as a possible challenger to President Obama in 2012, so keep out for that. Keep a watch for that. I don't think that'll materialize, but he's been, some of his comments, especially in his concession speech, saying, let's look forward to 2012. So I don't know. Perhaps he'll try to pick up another Senate seat, or who knows. So keep an eye on Russ Feingold, though. In Nevada, of course, Harry Reid keeps his seat, as projected. And as I predicted, I thought the turnout operation was going to be very good for Harry Reid. Harry Reid has been characterized as perhaps one of the worst candidates. He's not very good at talking to people or coming across friendly and connected, but he runs a terrific campaign, and his ground operations are incredible. So he wins with the term, and again, he won by 5 points, which is pretty impressive. Now, in Colorado and Washington, Michael Bennet and Patty Murray, I projected they'd win. Now, at the moment, it's close. It is not all the votes are in, and neither of the states have been projected, though the Denver Times projected Michael Bennet won in Colorado. And Patty Murray is expected by most people, most analysts and pollsters, and Nate Silver, who is one of the foremost advocates of electoral calculus, who runs the 538 New York Times blog that projected most of these gains. He thinks that Patty Murray will win that race. In California, of course, Barbara Boxer will keep her seat in that race as expected, and she won by about 10 points, pretty convincing margin. In Alaska, too close, as I projected. We don't know a winner at the moment. Lisa Murkowski leads, at least the write-in votes. There are 41% of the votes in the Alaska Senate race are write-ins, followed by 34% for Joe Miller and 24% for Scott McAdams. So these numbers will continue to be processed, but it is expected that Lisa Murkowski will pull through. But again, it is too close to call at the moment in Alaska, or at least no one has made a projection yet. So we were pretty accurate. And at the end of the day, the Democrats held on to the Senate, and it is expected they will hold on to the Senate by 53 seats to the Republicans' 47. The Republicans picked up 6 seats, most notably, of course, in Illinois, Pennsylvania, in North Dakota, then, of course, in Arkansas, in Wisconsin. So they picked up those seats. Oh, and of course, they picked up the seat in New Hampshire. So the Republicans picked up a decent, not the seat in New Hampshire, the seat in Indiana. They picked up Evan Bayh's open seat. So they picked up 6 Senate races. So they're, at the moment, at 46, the Democrats 51. But again, there are 3 non-projected races. We expect Lisa Murkowski will caucus with the Republicans if she wins in Alaska, so that'll bring the Republicans up to 47. And we expect Michael Bennet and Patty Murray to win their races, bringing the Democrats' total numbers to 53. So again, the Senate is pretty good hold for the Democrats. Again, they lost some seats, but they were able to avert catastrophe, which is interesting when compared to the House results, which were a blowout. very poor showing for the Democrats. It seems, if you look at the map, it looks as if blood is spilled all over the map of the United States. Like, red is everywhere. So again, we'll see how Congress acts in the coming months in a lame duck session, but also especially in January, when the new Congress reconvenes, and it is expected that House Speaker will be John Boehner. Interesting to see what Nancy Pelosi will do. Interesting to see if any gridlock, if further gridlock occurs, since now the Congress is split, which is quite a unique occurrence. In the governor's races, we were correct in projecting Andrew Cuomo to win. He won by about 24 points over Carl Paladino, 24 or 26 points. He won pretty convincingly. Sort of embarrassed Mr. Paladino. Mr. Paladino says it's over, no more elections, he'll never run again. Well, I would say so after that 26-point loss. In Ohio, we were incorrect in projecting Governor Strickland would hold on to his seat. He lost by about 2%, but it was pretty close. Again, Obama had campaigned for him, so we're not really sure, but again, not able to hold on to that seat. In Oregon, the Democrat, Kit Sauber, is running very close to the Republican, so this race is too close to call at the moment. That has not been projected. In Connecticut, though, okay, the Democrat, Malloy, has been projected by the Secretary of State of Connecticut to have won the race. Now, Tom Foley contests this. He says that there are a lot of outstanding ballots, etc. He doesn't think that will happen. But apparently, in accordance to my predictions, Malloy will win the governorship in Connecticut. So our predictions were pretty accurate in the Senate and a little less accurate in the governorships. Again, I apologize for the House predictions. Again, there was a great uncertainty, but I said that Republicans may narrowly take the House. They did take the House. Now, at the moment, they are about 240 seats, which is about 21 over the limit. So it's not a narrow taking, but it certainly isn't. It took them a while to take the House, and they'll end up carrying about 60 seats, which is about 15 more than I said their upper limit was. So I was incorrect in that, but I think I feel pretty confident in. I feel good about my Senate predictions, and let me know what you think, and also let me know what you think will happen in the new Congress, and what President Obama's going to do going forward, since of course now he's going to face a more hostile legislature. So again, this is going to become now a weekly log, because the political season, yes, will be intense, but it won't be as intense leading up to Election Day. We'll probably come in daily if there's a big item of news, and once the 2012 election season really rolls into force. Or if you want me to look into something and perhaps comment on an area or some interesting topic, let me know. Send me a message or post on a video, and I'll see what I can do. Alright, thank you again for watching The Young Voter. We'll see you next time.